merci beaucoup, Suzy, pour votre intervention. Alors, nous allons maintenant essayer un peu de passer maintenant à la session des questions-réponses. Et donc, dans la session des questions-réponses, vous êtes libre. Donc, si vous voulez poser la question en français, vous le faites en anglais, vous le faites. Mais sachez très bien que déjà, donc, l'initiative que nous avons prise, que Suzy puisse intervenir en anglais, c'est pour que vous puissiez au moins vous familiariser déjà avec l'accent maintenant et aussi à l'anglais parce que l'interview s'est fait en anglais et déjà le processus à partir d'ici jusqu'à la fin, ça s'est fait en anglais. Donc, c'est aussi mieux. Donc, je vous conseillerais même de commencer maintenant à pratiquer à partir d'aujourd'hui et même poser vos questions en anglais. Merci beaucoup. Alors, je vois déjà les mains levées et nous allons commencer par Mungwakonkwa Taka. Si vous pouvez poser votre question.
Yeah, thank you, Suzy. I'll be very straight in my question. I'm wondering why today we are starting directly with the interview. Is it because maybe in the previous days you have talked about the essay? Because definitely we are going to go to the interviews if we are selected to the essay. We are still struggling to make our essays good, or maybe we could wish to have some tips on that as well. But thank you so much for the presentation. It was very good and fruitful. We hope like we are going to reach the interview stage and benefit from your tips. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I think I'll leave this to Parfait, who has hosted, who has delivered and put together this.
Yeah, thank you, Mungwakonkwa, for your question. I don't know if it's the question or the suggestion, but at the introduction, actually, we just try to we said that we directed you to some of the webinar that we have done in the past, and among those webinar, we did one which is really focused on the how to write, a Chevening application, and it was based on the essays. And then we had, some of the alumni who joined that session and tried to give their insight on how to write those 4 essays of Chevening. So I would advise you to go to our Chevening alumni YouTube channel, and then you can find those video and watch them. I think they are really, really informative, and you will get a lot of resources on how to write your Chevening essays. Yeah, thank you, Yuban. And then, so we are going to take another question from Fiston Fils.
Good morning, everyone. Do you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm going to ask my question in French to appear more clear. Last year, l'année passée, j'ai fait l'interview. Et même Suzy m'avait interviewé avec 2 autres intervenants. Ensuite, malheureusement, j'avais été mis sur la liste des réserves. J'étais vraiment énervé. Parce que je me disais que UK était vraiment les states pour atteindre mon objectif de long terme. Maintenant, comment dois-je faire pour avoir les feedbacks de mon interview pour que cette année, je puisse bien préparer l'interview afin de bénéficier vraiment de cette bourse tant cherchée. Je veux vraiment la bourse Chevening. Merci.
Okay, I think that one's for me. Je vais reprendre en anglais parce que c'est plus facile pour moi. So you can have feedback from your interview. You email me, in short. En bref, email me. And what I will say that isn't part of the interview, but in terms of what to expect next, what I can say, I'll say, is there was a lot more people who passed the interview. However, sadly, the allocations that we were given this year were a lot less than usual. So there was a lot of people that us as the interview had put through to go onto the scholarship. But this year, our allocations was a lot less than it usually is. And that's the reason why a lot of people who were on the reserve didn't go through. to the next stage. So what I will say is you probably, I can't remember from the top of my head, and I would have to respond back to you officially by email. You probably did do well in the interview, but because of the small allocation that we had for people to go this year, you didn't make it in that top section, if that makes sense. But en bref, si tu m'envoies un email, je vais te répondre. Et just have that in mind that not everybody who passes the interview necessarily will be going on to doing the scholarship. It depends on the set amount of allocations that the country has. And bear in mind that the allocations is for DRC, ROC, Republic of Congo, and Central African Republic. I hope that answers your question.
OK, thank you, Suzy. Et avant que nous peut-être continuions avec la séance de questions-réponses, je vais demander s'il y a un alumni qui a aussi déjà participé donc, au panel d'interview, s'il peut avoir quelques informations, conseils qu'il peut compléter par rapport à ce que Suzy a dit. Donc, ce serait peut-être l'occasion d'essayer un peu de parler aussi aux applicants par rapport donc, à son expérience, étant donné qu'il a participé premièrement en tant qu'applicant, mais aussi en tant qu'aussi membre du panel. Alors, s'il y a un alumni, il peut aussi en quelques minutes essayer un peu de donner ses conseils aux applicants. Donc, je pense que peut-être il n'y a pas, donc il n'y a pas d'alumni qui a participé donc, au panel d'interview la fois passée. Nous allons continuer avec la séance des questions et réponses. Alors, je vois donc une main encore levée. Mungwakonko encore, donc vous avez une question?
Oui, je voulais savoir si par rapport à la RDC, combien de gens doivent être sélectionnés de l'étape de l'interview pour aller peut-être for the next stages. I want also to know how many people have been able to go until the stage of getting the scholarship and travel to UK this year.
Okay.
Wow. Ça dépend. It changes every year. So this year, the year that you're applying for will depend on last year. Alors, là, en septembre, août, on a envoyé 4 personnes. Il y a 4 personnes de Congo-Kinshasa qui sont parties en Angleterre. Alors, pour l'année prochaine, le minimum, ça va être 4 personnes qu'on va envoyer en Angleterre. Le minimum. Mais je vais me battre vraiment, vraiment dur pour que que ça monte. Parce qu'avant, c'était 9. Et parce qu'on avait envoyé 3 personnes the year before, c'est descendu jusqu'à 4. Bon, c'était même 2. C'est 2, mais je me suis battre pour les 2 autres places. Et c'est monté jusqu'à 4. Alors, it really depends on this year. But now that we've sent 4 people at the minimum will be sent next year. So if you're not selected, it doesn't mean that you didn't do well in the interview. Also, you need to remember that you need to do a test, an English test. Now, Parfait can confirm if that test takes place before the interview or after the interview. I don't know. But Parfait can confirm when it takes place. But you need to pass that test as well to be able to move forward. I hope that answers your question.
OK. Donc, merci. Je vais essayer un peu d'ajouter à ce que Suzy a dit. C'est-à-dire, donc, au temps passé, donc aussi, donc, la bourse Chevening demandait donc, les tests d'anglais, mais à un certain moment, avec la COVID, donc, ce n'était pas une exigence pour la bourse Chevening, mais c'est une exigence pour les universités. Donc, nous voyons beaucoup de gens, beaucoup de candidats, donc, ils sont sélectionnés, ils ont eu donc, l'offre conditionnelle de la bourse Chevening, mais étant donné qu'ils ont échoué les tests d'anglais pour avoir l'offre inconditionnelle à l'université, et voilà, donc ils se voient déclassés de la bourse Chevening. Parce que nous devons rappeler que pour avoir la bourse Chevening, il faut être conditionnellement sélectionné à la bourse, donc à la bourse après l'interview, mais aussi avoir au moins une offre inconditionnelle pour que votre bourse Chevening soit confirmé. Alors, c'est aussi quelque chose qu'on doit vous rappeler, de faire un effort aussi pour avoir donc un test d'anglais pour vous aider dans votre application maintenant au sein des universités. Donc, c'est un peu ça. Alors, je vois la main de Nelson Zagabe. Nelson, si Nelson n'est pas là, donc il y a donc iPhone et iPhone. Donc, celui qui se nomme iPhone.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had some few technical problems. I have some few questions, and I've also decided to answer my question in English, just trying to practice some type of mock interview. So my first question is about the passport confirmation process. Since it will be online, how is that confirmation process going to take place? Is it by a scanned document that we're going to send via mail or a process? My second question is about the answers we're going to provide during the interview process. I know, as you said, Susie, that we should follow the STAR method, but should they be long answers or short answers? Knowing that if we try to expand more on our application, as you said, that means answers might be long. And when we try to provide long answers, we tend to sometimes to talk about unnecessary thing, and probably that might influence or impact negatively on the answers we are going to provide during the interview process. So I'd like to get your point of view on that. Should we be briefs on our answers, or should we be extremely long? Yeah. My other question is about proofs of the stuff we have mentioned in our essays. I know we have talked about a lot of stuff in our essays on our leadership skills, on our networking skills, and so on. So during the interview process, probably the interviewers might like to ask questions about, let's say, a leadership experience we have had and that we have mentioned in the essays. And they would like maybe to know more about it and have proofs of if really we have really participated in such activities. Let's say, for example, a certificate of attendance or of whatever we have mentioned in our essay. So should we get ready with whatever proofs needed of whatever we have mentioned in our essays? And my last question is about one of the observations you said you have mentioned during the previous interviews, which is limited English, knowing that most of us, let's say all of us, being French speakers from DRC, from the Republic of Congo and the Central African Republic. During the interview, are the interviewers focusing more on our ability to speak in English or on our ability to go for a master's degree? Are we really suited to study, let's say, electrical engineering as Parfait did, or are we more looking at how good he speaks English? Thank you.
Okay, so you may have to repeat all of that again because I can't remember all the questions. But I would say to answer your last question, it's both. So we're definitely looking at your ability to speak English because you're going to the UK and you're doing a master's degree in the UK, which will be taught in English. So you need to have some sort of level of understanding English because you're going to be reading in English, you're going to be speaking in English, you're going to be writing in English. So yes, we are testing you on your English as well. But then at the same time, it's not all of it. At the same time, we also are aware and we consider that Congo, for example, is not an English-speaking country. So we are very lenient, and you're not really tested for us in the interview stage. You're not really tested in regards to the course that you've chosen, because we see the course you've chosen, but we are not expertise. Well, to be fair, I do have a master's in energy, but if I didn't know the field in which Bape was applying for, I wouldn't know the specific questions, the technical questions to ask him. So it's not specific on the course that you're choosing. It's just to know if you have the ability to work together, the ability to show that you are a leader, the ability to kind of show that you're passionate about your home country and that you need this scholarship in order for you to come back to the country and do better. That's what we're trying to see. We're trying to see that passion. We're trying to see that you can do the job, that you will come back and you will apply it into your home country. In regards to passport, in your application or somewhere along the lines, along the process, we ask you for your passport details, because in the application form, I can already see your passport number. So in the interview, at the end of the interview, I will ask you for your passport number and to show your passport on the screen. So you will confirm your passport number in which you have an application. If your passport number that you tell me is not the same as the one on application, we might run into some problems. It might slow us down a little bit. It doesn't mean it's the end, but you need to be able to explain why that's the case. And then the STAR methods, it can be long and it can be short. You just need to get to the point. Just get to the point. I can't really answer that question very directly, because you said some examples requires it to be a long answer, then do the long answer, but as long as you are missing out all the unnecessary information. And that only comes with practice. You just need to keep practicing that STAR method and answering questions. There's so many examples on the internet. Literally just Google an example of a STAR question, an example of a STAR method answer. It's in Google. And then your first question, I forgot. What was your first question?
Yeah, the last question was about proofs of leadership experiences we have had, networking experiences we have had. Should we get ready with any proofs related to whatever we have mentioned in our essays?
No, in short, no. You could even use another example in the interview, just as long as you answer the question. You could have an example in your application form, and you can use another example in the interview. You just answer the question.
Okay, thank you, Susie. And then I will ask Fiacre to just ask his question, please.
Okay, thank you for the floor. My name is Isere Fiacre, and I'm among the candidates. So I want to congratulate Lucy for this explanation about the scholarship, but my questions is mainly located on the level of the AC, the AC. So I want to know if so I want to know if I'm supposed to use some proverbs in my essay, so that it will not be seen like a plagiarize. Another question is about the recommendation letters. So what can you say about that? For example, I'm an entrepreneur, and if a colleague give me a recommendation letters, can it be valuable? And my last question is to know about in the EC there is somewhere that they say the professional relationship. So I want to know I don't really understand the meaning of that question. I don't know if I can locate it in the networking sense, but I'm confused about that. Thank you.
Thank you for
Okay.
the question, Fiak. Susie, can you go?
I actually think that maybe you're in a better place to answer this question, Valfe, simply because the applications are done from the center in the UK. I have been Sophlas since March here in Congo with the interview. I don't have too much experience in regards to the application forms. So you can send them questions to me by email and I can ask the center and get back to you. Valfe can also answer your questions in regards to his point of view. But what I would say in regards to professional relationship, what it usually means in general is someone who can vouch, someone who can recommend you on a professional level, such as your teacher, such as your boss at work. Even in the UK, even your doctor can give you a recommendation, or your dentist, someone who is in the professional field who knows you, can give that recommendation. But I'll leave the rest about it.
Yeah, so I would ask if there is, any alumni who can respond to those questions. If not, I will go with them. Joan? Yeah, so it seems that they are not ready. They are not ready. Yeah, so first of all, he asked the question about the reference letter. So I will start with that question. Regarding the reference letter, I think it's good to just ask someone who is able to speak, about your ability, because, as a reference, they want to see maybe you are able to study first a master's in the UK, but also someone who can speak, about your leadership activities and your achievement, and it will be good to ask, someone who knows you and who can speak about, those aspects. And then during the, on the application, you will have somewhere where you will need to specify, what is the relation, to, the referee. So it's maybe, as Susie said, your teachers, your employer, so you need just to specify, the relationship that you have, with this referee. And then on the essays question about using proverb, at least what they want to see in your essays is like you want to sound original. So I would advise you at least to write your own experience, because they want to see your leadership skill, your leadership experience, your ability to build networking. So at least you may have somewhere where you can put a proverb, but at least make sure that you maybe reference, you put the reference, and you can also put it in a quote, because this I'm sure that those essay they are put in a plagiarism software, so that they don't want you to see that you have plagiarized. So make sure at least you sound more original, giving your own experience. And there is something that maybe I want to add is like, we have seen, or I've heard that, people, used, the essays of past, past awardees. So some people, they take, the essay of someone who has been awarded, the Chevening scholarship, and then use the same, examples. And then if you use that, you will be caught, and this is really a plagiarism. So make sure that at least you are using your own example and you are very original. And I didn't get your second question. I don't know if you can just please repeat it. I think we have lost him. So basically, as we are running out of the time, so we want to take the last question from people in the audience. So I'm checking if people have put question in the chat, so. Yeah. So, Susie, there is a question here. I say that Chevening is it seems that Chevening like more women than men, and also those apply in economics or finance course are less likely to be selected. So, can you comment on that? So this is also a question from someone in the chat.
We don't go through applications and be, yes, female, male, yes, we're going to go for the female. No, definitely not. In fact, the applications is given to us at Post in Kinshasa. So the UK select the applications that are going to be brought forward to interview. We don't here in Kinshasa, we don't choose those who will be interviewed. They choose it. And I don't think they look at female, male. So forget that. And then in regards to finance courses, again, I have no knowledge of it being selective for a particular course. I'm not aware of anything like that.
Okay, so let's take the question from David.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
My name is David, and I would like to ask a couple of questions. My first question is about the interview. The interview is online or is in person? I ask this question, for example, for us who are not in Kinshasa. Is it a must to go in Kinshasa to take the interview? Another question is about the IELTS test. There is a requirement for the score. Is there any limit for the score you must have in order to get this scholarship? Another question is about choosing your course. As I have seen in the website, it seems you must choose like 3 courses. Is it right to choose 2 or 3 who are different from the field you want to apply? Thank you.
Okay. To answer your last question, it depends on your university. You can choose 1, you can choose 2, you can choose up to 3. It depends on your university. So your university it's called a prerequisite. So if I wanted to study finance, for example, the university will probably ask for a qualification in maths or economics. But if I have a qualification in arts or history, I probably will not be selected for that finance course. You need to look at the university and see what they are asking for. That bit has nothing to do with Chevening. Chevening is literally the scholarship that funds the program, who will give you the money for your flights, give you the money for your visa, who will help you with your visa. It's all of that other admin stuff. But in regards to the course and the university itself, you have to speak and communicate with the university themselves. In regards to the interviews, you probably missed my lovely presentation. In my presentation, it says the interviews now take place online via Microsoft Teams. So no, you don't have to come to Kinshasa or Goma, where we have Post. It's online, so wherever you are in the world, you can join the team interview. And you have a question, I've forgotten. What was the other question?
Yeah, about that test, English test.
The English
is there
test.
Is there any requirement for the score? Like you must have a band 7, 6, or what?
in short, I don't know the answer to that. We at Post don't deal with that, but I can ask, and maybe Parfait or the Luminai can have more information in regards to that. But in short, I don't know the answer to that because it's not in line with the Chevening. It's not in line with what we do at Post. But maybe
Yes,
Parfait knows.
I can answer that question. So, you know, the score of the English test, it depends on the university you are applying to and the program, because in the UK, you know, we have a lot of universities which have, you know, different requirements. And then I can just say about my experiences, like, you know, when I was applying for the master's program in the UK, so I had some university which were requiring, you know, a score, an IELTS of, let's say, 7, you know, and other they were requiring an IELTS score of 6. So, you know, this is to say that it depends, you know, on the university, and you need to be very, very strategic, you know, coming from, you know, French-speaking countries. It's really difficult for you to get those high score in the English, you know, proficiency exam. So when you are looking for universities, I would advise you to go and, you know, look for those universities who are not really, who don't have, you know, tight requirement on, you know, English score, and this will allow you to get easily a admission. So this is what I can say about, you know, your question. And in the chat, I can see someone is asking for your email address, Susie. I don't know if you don't mind to, you can just put it in the chat so people can have it. And we have Grace.
Hello, Parfait. It's Solid who's speaking here. Of course, I'm with Grace. And thank you for the presentation, and Susie as well. That was a good one. Maybe I would just make emphasis on some few points that you've already touched over there. I think it's high time to encourage all the people who are applying to make sure that they get their English in check. You know, saying that we are French-speaking country, yes, that's fine, but we still have time until March and until when we start going to the UK to just make sure that we improve our English level. So please take this time while you're submitting, make sure that you are also improving your English. Like Susie said, your courses will be in English. They expect you to interact with others. They expect you to express your opinion and all those different things. So they will be super tight on that. And again, it will depend on the course that you're going to do. If you're doing anything that has a lot of theory, then they will require very good English. Differently, unlike someone who's going to do, let's say, programming, of course, they just want to see results on the computer. They might not be really super tight with that. But again, I want to emphasize on that. And also for those who have not submitted yet their application, I have helped a couple of people. And I think what Susie said in the first place is not more about you, but about the impact you have had. I read many essays and they look like CVs, you know, it's like someone is applying for a job and saying, yeah, I've done this, I can do this, I can do that. But it's not that. It should be about the team. It should be about the impact you make in your community and the impact that you're going to make in the future. That's what I just wanted to emphasize on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Solid, for that. So I'm sure that people, they have got it. So as we are getting to the end of our session, so I will ask, I don't know if there is someone, we have left with someone who want to ask a question. So yeah, so Mungwa Konkwa, can you ask please your last question?
Thank you, Parfait. I'm sorry to take a lot of time to ask questions because I had many. Maybe I will email some to Susie directly on her box. I was having a question. Let me first start by the English and talking about the representation of the country on the Chevening opportunities. Like for me, only 4 people going to represent more than 100 million of the population. This for me is like still too small. I'm wondering if all the universities in Congo should encourage their people to apply just for 4 places. That's very, very, very small. So I'm seeing more opportunities in like empowering university people to grab also other type of, I mean like opportunities to go to study in UK, which couldn't be maybe only the Chevening scholarship. And for as far as I know, the big issue we are having is more about improving our level of English so as to be able to grab such opportunities. So myself, maybe talk to that to Susie after. We are trying to empower young people who are finalizing the university level to maybe improve their skills and know how to maybe go through volunteerism so as to have some impact they are doing in the community that can convince during different applications that could be fellowships and other opportunities. Because for me, that four people is still very, very, very small, and that does not encourage some people to apply. So my question was about how to make the documents. Okay, there is a part of applying for the scholarship to the Chevening portal system, and there is also the application to the university. For my case, I'm having a master's degree I've got in Africa, and I really want to go to study also in UK. I was wondering if putting my master's degree part of the application could maybe strengthen my application because I've got not sufficient marks to the bachelor degree. So I was just wondering if that adding the master's degree could be something that can improve my chance or maybe reduce them because they say, okay, why are we giving you another master's while you already have another one? Maybe we can prioritize others who don't have than giving a second master to someone who is already having it. So I was asking about how to be strategic. Maybe when I'm applying to Chevening, I can hide that I don't have a master's, then apply with the master's to the school because maybe there they will be more flexible than you guys. So that was my question on how to really work on those parameters because Parfait told us we have to be strategic on how we are also presenting ourselves. Maybe we shouldn't tell all the truth to everyone. Thank you.
As I mentioned in my presentation, usually I am on the panel. So that kind of information isn't something that I need to hear. But in regards to whether or not somebody who has a master's can apply, that's a question that somebody else has asked me, and I'm trying to find out if that's okay. I've been told by the previous Chevening officer that it's fine, but I just want to double check. So again, email me and I will give you the answer to let you know whether or not those who have a master's already can apply.
Okay, so thank you for the question, but you know, Mr. Mungwa Konkwa, but at least, you know, you should at least also try to say why do you want the second masters? You know, do you want only the masters in the UK? Is, you know, are the skills that you got from your first master are not sufficient? But at least, you know, you need just also to try at least to show, you know, why you want that second master's, because even when you'll be applying to the universities, they will ask you that question because you have already a master's. So why do you want a second master's? So you need to prepare, you know, an answer, a clear answer that shows how and why do you want the second master's. But
can I add to that, Pastor? Exactly what you've just said. Not only why do you want a second master's, but why are you choosing the Chevening program to obtain the second master's? Because as you said, Sir, Monsieur Daka Hubert, that there are other programs that offer scholarships as well in the UK. And one of the questions last year was, why are you choosing Chevening? What's so special about Chevening that you're choosing Chevening? So you need to demonstrate why it's for you and why we should choose you over after everybody else, especially if the numbers are limited. And on that as well, like I said, I'm really pushing for the numbers to increase. Once upon a time, there were 9 people that went. Once upon a time, there were 12 people that went. We're working on it for it to increase. And if you don't get through this year, there's always the following year. You can apply it again and again and again and again. So good luck.
Yeah, so thank you so much. And then before we end our webinar, so I will just give few remarks. And first of all, I need just to remind you that the application is closing, on the 7th of November. Please, people have started their application. Make sure that you submit your application before the 7th of November. It's next Tuesday, so make sure that at least you are finalizing your application and submit it. And I would like also to let you know that we have a WhatsApp group where alumni, they try to provide mentorship, to provide advice, to answer to your questions. So please, if you are not part of that group, so please join. We will put the link to the WhatsApp group on the chat so that you can join and then ask follow-up questions. And also Susie shared her email address, so if you have any question related to the interview or any question related to Chevening, so you can just send her an email and she will make sure to respond to your questions. So we are at the end of our webinar. I don't know if Susie, you have something to say before we close this webinar.
No, just thank you, Falfair, for this initiative. It's been great. And I am wishing everybody good luck. Like I said, keep the hope, keep the faith, and hopefully I'll see you on the interview.
Okay, and then I would like also just to confirm that this webinar is recorded and it will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So make sure that when you'll be shortlisted to the interview, you come back to this, webinar and then try to watch and take some tips that Susie shared with you. And I believe that this will be very helpful for you in your upcoming interview. So thank you very much for people who attended. So we'll have, other session in the coming days and we will announce them, Don't forget to follow our YouTube, our LinkedIn page and our Twitter page and Facebook page, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you and have a great weekend all.